I remember back to a relationship a while ago. If you haven't seen my content before, I'll tell my own story because I know it adds value, or it could, right, to other guys' lives. I talk about my previous relationships in a way where you can't really tell if it was 6 months ago or a decade ago. Why? Because if a woman shared her heart and her life with me for 6 months, for years, whatever it was, even though I'm not with her, I want to take care of her by disguising it. So I'm simply sharing my story, not gossip or not pointing it out. Hey, it was then. Oh, it must be that girl. So my style. I can remember back when I was dating this girl. We were together for a while. It was one of the more deeper relationships. And it was a few months in, and we're driving. I've been in Colombia about a decade. I'm in Colombia right now. And we were just talking about life decisions, and I already knew my three. Like, it was a question I asked her, and I'm like, I want to see what she says. Because we were still getting to know each other. It was only 4 months, something like that. We were friends before, but we're getting to know each other much deeper now. And I was like, yeah, what were their, top life decisions? And I actually, now that I think about it, I don't remember all of hers, but I'll share mine. And what are the three, as you're watching this now, as a dude, what are the three life decisions that really shaped you? And you can even think of why. Where if the same thing, one of those might not be as important today if it happened today, but based on the timing, it was like, yeah. My first one, I think I had like 4 or 5, but I'll spare you guys to only 3. My first one, she asked me, I was like, well, it's clearly when I went to Tony Robbins. She's like, well, was it that great? I was like, well, it was not just that. It was a long time ago. I'd never done personal development. I was studying psychology. I'm in Chicago. I'm like, all right, I want to be a psychologist. And then I'm going, I don't know, is that it? Like maybe something close to that. So I'm in school. My buddy calls me and goes, hey, you want to go to a seminar? And I'm like, well, what's a seminar? There's this dude, Tony Robbins. He's really well known. He does seminars and he tells you how to have a better life or something. I was like, that sounds dumb. I was. It's like, what? He's going to tell me? He doesn't know me. Yeah, there's you and there's 3,000 other people there. I was like, how does that work? This dude's going to teach us stuff and it's going to apply to all of us? He's like, yeah, and I get half price or whatever on my ticket. You buy one. I'm like, oh, they have a buy one, get one or whatever it was. I don't know. You have to go. I don't know what it was. It's been a while. 16 years. I was 24. So he's telling me this. And I was in school a year and a half, and I already realized there was enough stuff I didn't agree with where I'm like, I'm starting my business, I'm leaving. It was my second time going back to college. I'm like, nah, I think I'm done with this. I can learn more on my own. And went to this seminar, and it really blew my mind. Even standing in the registration line and hearing people's stories, just stuff they were doing. I was making this much and now I did this and I'm making 3 times more. Or look at this picture, I used to be really fat, now I'm skinny because I followed this. And just, it showed me, it wasn't even about Tony Robbins or the seminar, even though they were great. It just showed me massive possibility for expansion. There are massive amounts of possibility. In that few days meeting people, I was like, the possibilities of being a human and relationships, money, health, I'm like, it's infinitely greater. And you hear some story and this dude's doing this and then he's flying first class and now he bought a jet. And I'm like, that's a thing. So it opened my mind. That's really what it gave me, is enormous amount of potential for growth and expansion. Opened my mind and it was like, whoa. And then the next one, I was like, I broke up with my girlfriend. And this is many years ago. She's like, why is that? I'm like, well, and there's a couple girls that stand out. And I was like, I thought I was going to marry her. And I was like, we had a lot of good stuff together. It's my first Colombian girlfriend in the States. All the other Colombian girlfriends were here in Colombia. And it was just hard. That's why it was important, or I'm proud of it. It was it was super hard to leave. So I could see, especially years later, how much that shaped me. How as incredible of as a human being she is, or she was both. I'm sure she's even better now, knowing her, way better. Like, she's growing and doing her thing, having a ton of love, being a badass, whatever she's up to. I don't know, all the above. And I shared that, and it was interesting. I think my girlfriend at the time, this is years later, went first, and that was one of hers. I was like, oh. She's like, yeah, and this guy was a sweetheart, and da-da-da. And the last one, I was like, man, to pick 3, that's tricky. And I think I ended up with like 5. And I was like, for sure, ayahuasca. Because just like how Tony Robbins going to a seminar and talking to people opened my mind to like, wow, you can go to seminars about like health or business or relationships, and you can learn like tons of stuff in a weekend that most people don't learn in a lifetime. Like, how's that possible? It's like, well, you got to know where to look. It's like, really? You got to pay someone who's smarter than you to do it, and you go to a seminar, you get a course, like, no shit. So ayahuasca was a whole nother level. Let's see how much of it you can see. There's my bags to head out for this ayahuasca retreat that I have in about an hour for my 40th birthday. So one of the girls that's attending is arriving soon, so I will have to bounce. So I'm making videos now. So she's like, well, what did ayahuasca give you? And I was like, I had spent, man, so this is 2017. So that's 7 years ago. So I'd spent a couple $100,000 at least on coaches, seminars, biohacking, natural health treatments, healing from infected root canals, Lyme disease, mold poisoning, ozone therapy, hyperbaric chamber, too many supplements to name, however many different things, and seminars and coaches added up. Those and the big biohacking treatments like ozone, spending a couple $1,000s a month on ozone because I was so sick. It was like, do that or just like stay in bed. So I'd done all these things. And I'll never forget, I have the photo, it's in my documentary, which will be on this YouTube page soon. I'm looking up, and I'm looking like this. And I had hair back then. I don't have a shirt on. I'm standing next to the shaman, who clearly looks like a shaman. And I'm looking up like, the look on my face is like, what the fuck just happened? And those are my first 2 ayahuasca ceremonies. I'm like, I've done this seminar, this retreat, this mastermind, this book, this health protocol, this whatever. And I'm like, I have absolutely no idea rationally what happened in these last 2 nights of these couple of ceremonies. And then the guy goes to me, he's like, hey, if you really want to go deep with ayahuasca, the guy who runs the place, he goes, come back, do 4. This guy's nuts. This guy wants me to do 4. I need to sleep for like a week after doing 2. I've done 4 in a row many times. I'll be off to do 4 in a row tonight. Not in a row, like in the same night, but in the next few days. So why do I tell those stories? And why do I bring up my girlfriend at the time said her breakup with this guy was the most important decision of her life, or one of them? When we're in a relationship, whether we're afraid to leave, whether we have deep connection, or you go, man, the sex has never been like this, but the connection's not there, whether it's the compatibility, maybe the relationship makes total sense on paper, but you just don't connect like that. That's an intangible. Maybe the sex has never been there. And you're like, man, do I choose between sex, between love? You have these internal conflicts, right? And you stay. And it's painful. It's super painful. Ask me how I know, because I've done it. It's part of the reason I help guys do what I do to help give them clarity. I don't give them clarity. I ask the right questions and tell stories and have them find their clarity. It's not about me. To figure out, for them to decide, should I stay, should I go? I've been in this relationship. I don't know what to do. You know, she doesn't respect me. Man, fuck, I don't respect myself. I'm losing myself. What if I never find anyone better? What if I break up with her and I realize I'm more messed up than I thought and I don't find someone else? You know, why is this all this shit coming up? I'm in my 30s and my 40s. Why am I afraid of being alone? What the fuck? So, if you're in this place right now, I don't know if you're in the right relationship or it's time to bounce. What I do know is it'll be excruciatingly more painful if you don't make a decision. And women operate different than men. If you haven't told her what's going on in you internally and you think that's keeping her safe or allows you to solve the problem up here before she knows what's going on, that's not how the female species operate at all, bro. She feels there's an indecision, there's a confusion, there's a fear, there's, call it a weakness. If she's, judging you, she may not respect you as much or not at all. She may not trust you. Women don't operate logically in the same way. They have logic, but it's a different operating system entirely. So with those 3 decisions, I shared mine. I shared one of my former girlfriends. Hers was to leave a relationship that was really hard. Making a decision whether you're going to stay, give it your all for a while, go all in, and then reevaluate, should I stay or should I leave? Or you just know, bro, this is hard and I gotta get ready to break up or divorce or whatever. And what if this decision you're going to make, and it could be to recommit, and you go 6 months later, I'm glad I watched this bald dude's video and I recommitted my relationship and it's never been better. Dope. Or you go, I've been putting off this divorce for 3 years and my family and my health and it's gonna get worse. Time to go. But to make a decision, and what if a future version of you, 5 years in the future, could look back with certainty and precision to know and could say, bro, I know it hurts like a motherfucker right now. I know it feels like it's ripping your heart out. I know let's face it, maybe your penis doesn't respond the same way because you're so conflicted or afraid. Guys think we need Viagra and we need emotional alignment. It's a surprise for a lot of guys. They think it's a blue pill problem. Most of the time, no. With rare exception, no. But if that guy 5 years in the future could say, bro, you're supposed to be in this relationship, or that you're supposed to give it your all for a few months, or man, you haven't accepted it for years, but it's going to be hard at times, but it's time to break up. It's time to get divorced. You don't want to have kids with this chick. You want to have kids, but you wonder, why has God been, the universe, whatever you believe in, stopping? You've been trying to have kids and you're not. And to make that decision. That you, then that future self 5 years in the future, looks back and says, this is going to be one of the greatest milestones of your life. To open your heart, to grab your balls and to go, you know what, I got to love her and love myself enough to commit, or love her and love myself enough to do my best to lovingly close this chapter. So, what is the decision you're going to make? What I can promise you is not making a decision. You'll go from pain to a lot of pain to eventually, especially if you wait, excruciating pain. Ask me how I know. I've been there a couple times and I've had to figure it out. Sometimes not the easiest way, but just got better at cleaning up my messes. So decide what you're going to do something, do it soon. That's all for today, gents. Thank you for tuning in.